There's no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies. You all know the rules. This is a sequel trilogy, High Republic free zone, and it will be kept that way. Okay. So we've heard a lot about merchandise sales and what's really going on there. I was at a gun show. Yes, I go to gun shows looking for a unicorn to add to our collection that I don't think exists anymore. A Colt 1911 called the Defender, which is a shorter barrel in 45. I fell in love with one when I saw it, and just can't find them anywhere. So anyway, I was there, and there was a guy, retired Marine, selling guns and Hasbro, both the 3-inch and the 6-inch Black Series. No, I didn't buy anything. I should have. I've got his card. Hey, hey Shakespeare. So anyway, what he said to me, because we were talking, and I asked him, how are they? What's going on with the sequel trilogy stuff? And he said it's very hard to get. He said there's a lot of it at Disney Springs, and I said I let him talk. I know for a fact, just by talking to people who go to the Florida Disney World and go to Disney Springs, that there really isn't any sequel trilogy stuff there anymore, that it's mostly Mandalorian. But maybe that's changed, I don't know. And then he said the reason why the store shelves are empty, and this is kind of, I don't know if I believe the distributor, because I don't think the distributor would even know. At Target and it doesn't make any, I mean, this is just, what? Um, doesn't make any sense to me. He said that they were telling him to buy up all the stuff that he could because they wouldn't be able to get any more Black Series stuff. And I was like, well, why? And he said, there's not enough shipping containers. I'm like, okay, whatever. That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, maybe, no, it could be the truth. I'm going to take his word for it, but, Marvel sure has got filled to capacity shelf space. Other lines do. Masters of the Universe does. Star Wars doesn't. See where I'm going with this? They can't sell the sequel trilogy stuff. They can't keep up with the demand for the OT, Mandalorian, and prequel stuff, and, Clone Wars. And he had a General Grievous. I was thinking about grabbing. He had a Din Djarin. I don't have a Din Djarin. He had those credit card Black Series Cara Dune for $45. I cried when I was like, oh my God, because I've spent way too much on mine. And he actually is under the impression that Gina's coming back too. And we talked a little bit more. It was very interesting, but I honestly, he would. I mean, I think a lot of times when you talk to people in this job, they're not going to tell you what's really going on because they got to protect, and that's fine. But it's a very interesting discussion. I talked to him for a long time too, very, very long time. But as far as them not having enough shipping containers, it's like, what are you talking about? See, that's where if I'd be looking at my distributor going, you know, and I told him, I said, last time I was at Ollie's, it was wall to wall in the book section, books that that were written by the story groups, chosen ones that couldn't get sold. Hundreds of them. And, you know, I've gone into alleys before and there's, no OT, no prequel stuff, no Clone Wars stuff, but a ton of sequel trilogy stuff. Now, last time I was there, there were there was a couple of things from Solo and everything, and but he told me that lots of times a collector will buy that stuff and just hold on to it. And I told him last time someone gave me a sequel trilogy character, it was Admiral Holdo, and I basically did a video where I put her in the fire pit saying we were sacrificing a virgin so the gods would lift the pandemic. It didn't work. Maybe, anyway, that's supposed to be a joke, by the way. And it was kind of funny, to be honest. So anyway, it was very interesting little discussion. But I don't really see how Disney Springs sales really cause a need to make more sequel trilogy stuff when it's not happening. And he said that they're moving, he even agreed that they're moving away from the sequel trilogy. And I said, well, they're putting in a multiverse. So the Favreau-verse won't clash with the sequel trilogy verse, but it's going to continue the story. I mean, that's what I think is going to happen. But anyway, let's go on to something that really set my teeth back yesterday. So I had a bad day. All right. I had to go get blood drawn. And it was a fiasco. I was at the office way over in Mechanicsburg for almost 2 hours. This is a thing that took 15 minutes. This is why I didn't get to do my normal and I thought about doing one, but then I thought I gotta get this done because that the lab closes at 3 on Fridays. But anyway, it's really funny when healthcare admin people are incompetent, the world literally does stop. It literally does. Not kidding. Piss me off, by the way. Anyway, I would have done live in the morning, pre-Midnight's Edge, morning show, and I didn't because, I had to go run around like a chicken with my head cut off, and, I don't like being told that, the order is going to be faxed right away when I'm already at the office and it should have been faxed. It should have been in the system before I got there. And I discover it's not there. And then the lady you called at the other office doesn't do it. So you wait an hour for it to come. It's like, come on. So finally I got that done and I was not in a good mood. And then this little bit of news, shut up. So everybody who goes on Midnight's Edge or the bigger channels knows who Mike Sutton is. Mike Sutton owns Geekology, I think this website's called. And he's fairly reliable. Mostly is what I've been told. And he basically said, Kennedy's not leaving. And I'm like, so old redneck nerd posted that with no link. And I went from 0 to 1,000 in a second. Last thing I wanted to hear on a crappy day. And especially after a glass of wine. Or 2. I was not in the mood for that. And I'm still not in the mood for that. He was on Pop Culture Minefield. And he just casually said he was writing a thing on it. And then never said another word. And no one asked him. So we got to sit around and wait for this vaunted article to come out. And I'm like, oh, God. I'm one of these people that I want to know now. I'm impatient that way. I want to know if I have to be pissed off for the rest of my life. Okay? Because, you know, a lot of people are like, well, what's the big deal? And it's like, well, if you win the culture, you win the war. Period. End of story. It's not, you know, walking into Washington, D.C. and, you know, doing some bullshit like that. It's dismantling what the left have done to our culture and allowing her, Kennedy, to stay is a very terrible person, and she should be removed. She should not have her contract renewed. So this doesn't make any sense. Especially like, let's go to, okay, we're gonna go here and we'll talk about dipshit later, but let's go to, oh, all right, does this, all right, after everything Cameron and Andre have talked about through all this, we've got the Forbes, Gina Carano firing. And so we got this by Gene Del Vecchio, who left Twitter before oh God, stop with the pop-ups. But here you go. That, okay. Then let's go to Variety. Do, 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 do. Bob J. All right. All right, and then this one. Here's one. Hey, Matt Piranha. Now this article, as soon as it comes up. No, see, this is what I lean you guys on. So we got, I don't want to see this. Come on. What in the hell is this? Yeah, continue Variety, skip ad. Okay. This one right here. Remember this? This is all about Lucasfilm. So I don't understand where Sutton's coming from. I really, really don't. This is a big deal here, and this is all about, it's all about what's going on. This guy's staying. Alan Bergman is staying there, and he's taking over Alan Horn's job. See, this is the thing. So, and if Horn and if Horn and if Horn and Iger are both leaving at the same time, Kennedy is. Now there's another one. We've all heard the Business Insider, where at the very end it said Chapek wants more power to hire, to over executives for hiring and firing, which is perfect sense from a business perspective. They're there to help the company make money, and if they're not producing, they need to go. Kennedy hasn't produced anything. And from how Indy 5 is going, even if it's a great movie, the way people are already bad-mouthing it, because she's part of it, so immediately it's gonna be bad. who cares if James Mangold, who is a great writer and a great director, is doing it? I'm like, what the fuck? This is all very interesting to me because Chapek wants that power to be able to remove people like her or not renew their contracts. So they have to go year to year, probably, rather than every 3 years. And Meyer, the studio or the division in basically a financial cul-de-sac. Then it said, and he's looking to this October to do more restructuring. That, according to Cameron, and I agree with him, is a blatant gun pointed at Lucasfilm. All right. And we've got Pablo saying, after 20 years, I have no idea, I have no plans, and I don't know what hers are. Hey, Eastland. Anyway, so let's go to the next one. And this is the one that really sticks out, even more so than the other ones. The Atlantic. Star Wars. So we've got, it's called Can the Mandalorian Save Star Wars? And I'm going to say this right now. By Spencer Kornhaber. It's very interesting. Especially, they're saying that, they're basically in a feature film hiatus. Then they announced Taika Waititi's got a feature film. Kevin Feige is working on one. And, we got that stupid idea for Rogue Squadron with that idiot pear-butt Patty Jenkins. Okay. Those movies are likely just sitting on the shelf right now because if you remember, in 2019, Disney CEO Bob Iger announced a movie-making hiatus for Star Wars. So there's literally only one thing that's going out as a feature film, and that literally is almost the only thing she's allowed to do right now, Kennedy, and it's already going, and they're going to be done in September. It is the Indy 5, all right, and that was really I think why she's been hanging around so long. It's like one of those things where they kept moving it out and moving it out and moving it out and moving it out and moving the goalposts for it. And it's really quite interesting to me looking at this because the Atlantic is literally kind of the magazine that all the bigwigs and the Hollywood culture in both New York and LA read and everywhere else. It's basically them saying it's if Jon Favreau's in charge. So I don't know. Here's the thing. People hear things. Is Sutton acknowledging this? Because this stuff is pretty specific. Even the Business Insider hit piece on Chapek was acknowledging what he wants to do. Okay, now I often wondered out loud if that Business Insider story wasn't Kennedy or one of her allies behind it, or maybe even Iger. Are we to believe that Iger and Chapek are at odds? I can't imagine the odds being that bad, but I can't imagine Iger, who is enamored with China, being pissed off because they put Black Widow out when the Chinese were having their Satan worshiping celebration, the 100 years of the CCP. I don't have any respect for that. By the way, that's why I talk like that. If you enslave your own people force them to live like animals, and that's what they do, that's what socialism of that sort is, then my respect for you is a middle finger. I don't, you know, I don't consider what they want to do as anything an American film studio should care about. Okay, but Bob Iger wants that box office money. Even though Disney only gets 20% of it because they're getting screwed. Okay, now granted they get paid up front, but still, there's a point where you're like, hey, come on. I mean, it's what China's doing to Disney and to Warner Brothers and to Universal and to Paramount and to the rest of them is simply this. Exactly what exactly what Disney's purported to be doing to Scarlett Johansson. Okay? You know, it's like, come on. You know, why would you release a movie in China that's not going to do well anyway, and only to get 20% of a box office take that might be $10 million? I mean, that's like 500,000, maybe. I mean, that's not what, but that is likely one of the not so happy points that Iger has of Chapek. Because I think, and I've said this before, Chapek wants to cut ties with China, and good reason. The next 10 years are going to be very interesting, because the Chinese. I mean, where did I read that? Where some crazy government official in Beijing was threatening to nuke Japan worse than they ever were during World War II. I mean, you know, we just saw the Cold War between the Japanese and Chinese fought in on the wrestling mat at the Olympics just now. Japan, the Japanese girl kicked her ass, by the way, which is. But I don't see what the good reasons would be to bring Kennedy back. So I really wish Sutton would actually put the story out so we could read it, and then compare it to what we've been, kind of trying to figure out from all this other stuff. She could be falling up. She could be going into the Disney organization somewhere. But to be honest, I think her best bet would be to not come back under her own. And why would she want to? She hasn't been doing well there. The fans aren't happy. This is going to piss them off more. It's time. It's time for her to take the L and go. And I don't know why she'd want to come back. I mean, she doesn't particularly like any of the franchises that they do, except for Indiana Jones. And, I am really kind of wondering out here's the deal. If you do a studio head that's year to year, I think, and then keep everybody there that actually, like Filoni and this Mohsen Gupta and everybody, because look, this is my theory that this stuff has been going on at Lucasfilm since 2018. All right, we heard the rumors of big arguments, of fights. Hidalgo ran away from Twitter. It's just very interesting watching this all kind of slow roll out. It's like a slow roll. We know that, was it 2019? No, it's 2018. Chuck Wendig got fired, but what he was doing was just, if anybody deserved to get the axe, it was him. He was being awful, and he is an awful person. I wouldn't want him working on my on anything, all right, that I had, on any franchise. He's a political fanatic. He's an ideologue. Just like Claudia Gray, just like Justine Ireland, just like Daniel Jose Older, but they get away with it because they're not white men. And that's the only reason why them and also Christina Ariel can basically behave like Obersturmbannführers and brown shirts on Twitter and everywhere else and get away with it. They're protected. Kind of a shitty deal for everybody else, I think. Especially the targets of their hate and anger and derision and mockery, you and me. Okay. But like I said, I don't know why Kennedy would want to come back. She's not a studio head, and it would be, yeah, hey, Mazarus. Yeah, Paul, and that's the thing. As we go through this, like, Mazarus will remember this. I talked about this before. There was a rumored, basically a VTC call between Lucasfilm London and Lucasfilm California. And Iger was kind of monitoring it with Kevin Feige, and I think John Lasseter, before he got pushed out, was there too. And it was a free-for-all. And then Pablo leaves Twitter. You guys all saw that. I've talked about it at great lengths, his behavior after that. Then he comes back. And then we get rumors that she was leaving and rumors that they couldn't find anybody to take her place. And then, Carrie Hart disappears, and everyone goes on the website going, where'd she go? And then we basically turn it into a thing, and I have to admit, she's gone. She went to do mentoring, and now she's working for Ruin Johnson. Okay, she's probably telling all the Greeks in Greece that they were really black once or some shit like that. And they're like, what? So anyway, so that happened. And then they re-sign Kennedy. There wasn't a fanfare. It wasn't a big announcement. It wasn't anything like that. But they just put a press release out that, yeah, we brought her back for another 3 years, not 1 year, not 6 months, 3 fucking years. And the world went batshit. I lost my mind. I was so goddamn mad. Yeah, it was a big deal. It was a really big deal. But the way they put it out there was they were like, they didn't really want to even talk about it. They didn't want to make it a big deal because they knew that everybody hated her guts and that she was ultimately a failure. And, I think maybe when she's honest, because narcissists at times can be honest, she knows that she should not be running a studio. She's not capable of it. So anyway, we get to 2019, and there's more stuff going on, more fights. Yeah, I think you're right. I really, really do. I really think you're right. But here's what I think. I think Iger started thinking about how do we rectify this and how do we fix what's broken. And what happened, I think, is they started talking about restructuring like maybe back in 2018. And she was there, and they kept pushing back Indy 5 for some fucking reason. Because if Indy 5 had happened 5 years ago like it should have, we'd probably be under a different regime right now at Lucasfilm. But because they kept pushing it back, they weren't satisfied with this and they weren't satisfied with that. I almost wonder if Spielberg kept saying, no, the script sucks, the script sucks. We need to bring George in. And of course, Disney's like, no, 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 no. And you can't really make Indiana Jones or Star Wars without George. You just can't. You know, him and Harrison are the linchpins for that. And if they're not part of it, it's going to suck ass. So we'll see. But I think the restructuring ideas were starting to come together in 2019. Because then there was another argument I've heard where, and this was was it last year? I'll say it was in 2019, where they're getting ready to launch Disney Plus, and there was a big fight, and apparently, and this, I don't know if this is true or not, this is where, and Craig wasn't doing videos anymore, but she had a shit fit and screamed at Dave Filoni. The rumor was it was Pablo Hidalgo, but I think it was Dave Filoni. If you didn't have balls, you could do your job. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't know, Maze. I think they're going to keep it. And that's what I think is going on. I think what they're doing, yeah, so let's go on. So 2020 happens, COVID hits, Chapek takes over before COVID hits. Let me say, Disney stocks were falling. Okay, they were. This was before it hit rock bottom in March, which was like $79 a share, which is, you see Apple and Amazon, big, huge companies, Apple and Amazon and others going, because they want that. They would want that bad. And then you see the stock start going up, like anything below 100, and then you see it go up again. What they were doing is borrowing money from the US government, banks, etc., and even from the Canadian government, to the tune of probably $50 billion, so they could keep the stock price inflated. And I think that's what's going on now. I really, really do. I haven't looked at the stock price in a long time. It's been up to $200 a share, which, if you bought at $79, if you bought like 20,000 shares at $79, and you sold at 250 or 230, you'd be making a lot of money. I mean, you would have made a lot of money. But it's an inflated stock. I mean, I wouldn't buy it. A lot of people are telling me that don't buy it. In fact, we had some, and I was like, get rid of it. It wasn't much. So anyway, so that's what was going on last year, and then we get the rumor from Doomcock that one of the big investor guys showed up at the ranch and was like, is there really a Lucas Abrams cut? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, can I see it? Now what it is it's just like a kind of a working thing. It's like a very rough cut, and it was better than what we saw on the screen. He came out, I mean, nothing was going to save the trilogy, nothing. But he came walking out, didn't say anything. July 3rd, Kennedy's called to the office, or to the money guys, with everything she's got. Soon after it, we learn Bob Iger puts a moratorium on any feature films at Disney. That means Waititi, Feige, Idiot Jenkins, none of that stuff is going to get made. All right. she turns around, and this was it last year? She went around their backs and hired Headland to develop the Acolyte. Yeah, I think it was. So that was like strike 50,000. This is strike 51,000. Gina Carano starts getting more political on Twitter. And meanwhile, the Mandalorian, fervor for the Mandalorian starts going and getting, more traction and more popular. Those collectibles and things are flying off the shelves, and Kyle Ron and Mary Sue can't just collect dust. Here's what happens. December, I think it was 15th, 2020, Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 16, we see an X-Wing fighter. I knew who it was. Mazarus will say, Steph called it last year. I did. It's got, the only thing that made any sense, it would be Luke. Luke shows up, and it is literally one of the, it was fucking, what, I still can't wrap my head around how cool that was. And the crowd went nuts. The reaction videos are priceless. And even still, Saunders is faking tears because he loved the sequel trilogy. But he's faking tears. It's like, you know what? Fuck you, okay? Just fuck you, dipshit. So anyway, we get to afterwards, and Pablo Hidalgo posts in his private chat on Twitter, emotions aren't for sharing. Somebody shows the tweet to Star Wars Theory. Star Wars Theory, and everybody gets pissed off again at Pablo. And he puts it on his cover of his secure Twitter account, which is public. This is how dumb he is. Anybody believing that even your secure account on Twitter is secure is a moron. Okay? So anyway, hell breaks loose. Pablo is forced to apologize. Star Wars Theory told him to go to hell. And suddenly this public account shows up from Pablo. It was one of the troll accounts. And I think, I gotta say, man, I think he was somebody that was trolling me on Twitter for a long time. Called himself Daily Plunge. I think it was him. And it was very interesting to me that he was following. What are you talking about? Star Wars Shop? Okay. He was following his private account, Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel. And all of a sudden, Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel are gone. He doesn't follow Dave Filoni. He doesn't follow Jon Favreau. Shitty Star Wars takes just recently attacked a guy saying he can wait for this episode of Bad Batch. And, you guys saw what they said, right? I have to tell you. And he retweeted it. He can't be still at Lucasfilm. I don't believe it. And if he is, he's getting ready to leave. Okay. So, what is going on here? So we got all right, Gina gets told we don't want you around. Then the Forbes article. And then a month later, or 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, whatever, that Variety article, which was all about Lucasfilm. Then this Atlantic article. And then this Business Insider, seemingly looking like it was a punchback by somebody. And then, of course, we get the ditz, that is Scarlett Johansson, suing for more money. Yeah, James, I know that. And if I get to it, I get to it. So anyway, I am just, watching all this. And, Kennedy hasn't been running Lucasfilm because she's producing Indy 5. She's in England. And I'm like, they're renewing her contract? Come on. I mean, I gotta tell you guys, I want to read this story so I can actually come in and say, yeah, but to it. Now, granted, Sutton is a reliable guy, but so's Cameron. Okay? So there are a lot of people saying she's done. She's done. So I don't know where he's getting this from. The thing that I got mad at Pop Culture Minefield, and if any of those guys are on here, when a guest says something like that, you have to ask more. You can't just let it go by. Because I'd have been like, what? Okay, what are you talking about? And then get him to fess up. And if he doesn't, to me, if you had something that was really big, you'd tell people right away. You wouldn't necessarily hide it, or hold on to it. It's one of those things, okay? Not, or you would. The fact that he said it so casually makes me, because I listened to it, I watched it. It's at 1 hour and 33 minutes of the interview they had with him on Pop Culture Minefield. So if you want to go and watch it, you can, and get to that, and then listen to it and say, what? I didn't really get anything from it, except pissed off, because I'm like, look, you guys, that's the biggest story you've got going into this. Isn't the crappy stuff you're talking about, it's this, okay? And that's the truth. It's that right there. So do I think she's coming back? Well, if she does, she's going to be put in a corner and told don't touch anything. Look, we already see changes coming. Filoni is number 3. Mohsen Gupta is opposite. Okay? I don't, maybe they're going to give her like a 6-month extension or a 1-year extension. Now, I'm going to tell you this. They keep saying there are going to be big announcements coming at Celebration 2022. Maybe they're going to announce the new head of Lucasfilm. All right, maybe. But I don't think she's going to come back in any capacity that's gonna hurt Lucasfilm anymore. I really don't see if Bob Iger is the penny pincher or Bob Chapek is the penny pincher that he is purported to be, wanting to spend money on the Acolyte or Rogue Squadron or anything like that. They've really got to get reorganized and fix what's broken. Now, that means getting rid of people that cause trouble. Leland Shee hasn't caused any trouble. Matt Martin has. He was part of the those two Raylos. Was it Rewriting Ripley? He retweets shitty Star Wars takes. He's attacked the fans. He's not as bad as Pablo, but still, I would say you need to find a new job. And there are plenty of others all over the company. Hal Hickel, who is one of the head animators, is a flaming political fanatic, and he should go. There are things they need to do to fix what's broken, and it's not keeping people that caused all this trouble. It's not, and we all know it. But anyway, I really can't wait to see what Sutton has to say, because I'm like, I don't see it. Everything I've talked to you guys about says the opposite. Now, maybe they're afraid that they're giving into the mob of unwashed Trump fans. Again, if that's what they think, they don't know anything about Star Wars fans. They really, really don't. Uh, I would say a good 3/4 of the people that I know that can't stand Kennedy are foreign. They can't vote in our elections. They're they vote Democrat. Or they're liberal, like she is. And it's like, you know what? She's got to go. It's not because of her politics. It's because she has done a shitty job. She's not a studio head. She's incompetent. And she didn't pay any attention to what was going on behind her back when she let the ants, basically the worker bees, run the asylum. And worker bees, I mean Pablo, his wife, and the rest of that detritus. Okay? And again, why would she want to come back? She'll get Indy 5 in the can. She'll leave with a bunch of money. Eastland, what are you talking about? She'll make a pile of money and go off to, create her own company, which is what she said she wanted to do, I thought. So, or maybe her ego's saying, I can make it better. No, this is the reason why she has to go. Okay, come here. She is a PR disaster. Just her face alone pisses the fans off. And she knows it. I mean, when they introduced J.J. Abrams and she came galloping out, behind him, she didn't want to be introduced separately because she was going to get booed. That crowd was going to boo her. Okay? And she knew it. She was terrified. And here's the deal. If you know that, why would you want to go back? Why? These are the questions that need to be asked. Why would you want to go back to that? You could see it. Go back and look at the video from, Celebration 2 years ago. It was like, she comes galloping out there like a mule. And it's like, what is she doing? Colbert didn't even introduce her yet. So I don't, I'll have to see what, in fact, before I go, let's get into Geekosity and see if Mikey dropped that article. There's the Atlantic. Okay. All right. Let's see. So he's just got his review of Suicide Squad, and Cameron said he liked it. This guy says he doesn't. And The Rock apparently is in discussion. Come on. All right. Come on. What's going on here? Up. Okay. I don't know why this thing did this. All right. This thing is, okay, now the screen's frozen. So I can't tell what's, okay, here we go. So he hasn't posted anything yet. I mean, to me, just the way he talked about it, he wasn't really impressed or with what he was going to say, or like he didn't really care. And if it's a big story, and this is the biggest story they had, then I would think he would be a little more whatever. But I'm just not buying it. And I really want him to say, to post what he was going to post. So then we can discuss it and say, wait a minute, no, this, that, this, scoops, let's see. Star Wars scoops, okay. No, I am not going to love these. I don't want to go on eBay. All he's got is a Star Wars Halloween special. Kelly Marie Tran wants a Marvel role. All right, and then that's it. I mean, he hasn't done any of this, and the Baby Yoda could be in the Book of Boba Fett. He's got a story up here saying that Darth Maul series is going to be developed for Disney Plus. And this is one of the things I really liked. Lucasfilm to incorporate more of Star Wars Expanded Universe, which, they also posted, this is funny, The Mandalorian, Rian Johnson in talks to direct an episode. That's never going to happen. Chloe Bennett considered for Dr. Aphra Star Wars role. That's not going to happen. And I don't think that Sebastian Stan, with them getting Shamook in, is going to be going to play Luke Skywalker. Why would they do that when they have to pay him star money, all right? So there's nothing here. I mean, he hasn't posted anything. Maybe he won't. Maybe it's nothing. But again, I want to see what he has to say. Well, Dr. Aphra, James, you keep bringing this up. Yes, I heard, is what can we do about it? Sit and talk about it? Nothing I can do about it. Okay? I'm, if I was in Aberdeen, I'd probably go and help him, but I'm not. So, all right, I'll see you there. I'm not, so what can I do about it? It's sad, but really there's nothing I can do about it. The guy made a statement. He knew he was going to get attention with it. I mean, the state of Washington, that in Aberdeen, I think, is on the coast, where all those stupid people hang around like locusts, So, I can't do anything about it. If they burn down the shop, my thing is, if I was in the area, I go and, I tell the cops, either you get over there and you fix this problem, or I will. Okay? And that's what I would say, and I'd show up. And you know what I'd show up with. All right? But there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. I wish there was. And it doesn't. Here's the deal: if you stop talking about Antifa, and you stop talking about Black Lives Matters, if you stop talking about them, if they would probably go away. I mean, they would probably, here's the deal about it, about them. The old man isn't the target. We are. We are. Okay. This is why we get Dr. Aphra. We are the targets. Okay. This is why we get, I gotta go here for a second. This is why we get This is why we get Vice Admiral Haldo, you know, and all the rest of them. It's because they they want to piss us off. We are the targets. And, you know, we see them attacking this old man. Oh, I know that. And that's why the looters, you know, I mean, get what they get to do. I mean, you know, but I tell ya, when Minneapolis went down, if Mays is still here, he'll remember that shop owner that showed up with a shotgun, and they scattered like rats. You know, I'd show up, you know, and they'd leave. I'd tell them, if you're stealing something, put it on the ground. Get the fuck out of here and don't come back. They wouldn't come back, all right? They wouldn't come back. There's a reason why, when it was going down in Los Angeles, why they suddenly decided not to go and bother the Korean stores anymore. Because they're being shot at. You know, yeah, he did win, James. I'm gonna tell you something. This is not a political channel, okay? All right, it's not, and I don't normally like talking about politics here. When I do, it has something to do with what we're talking about with Star Wars, and this does in a way, but I don't like talking about it because it's divisive bullshit. And again, in fact, I've really kind of stopped talking about politics. Period. There's nothing we can do about it. And what we could have done about it should have been done in January. Okay? We were all on the internet. We weren't in Washington. We were all on the internet. Yelling and screaming like we always do. Us fearless internet warriors. Just like the fucking Twitter mob. Okay? We're not real. So we gotta stop it. Oh, and fuck you. Maze, you wanna take care of him or I will? There. There. He is gone. But anyway, when you have someone like this whatever the fuck his name is, show up, he was just here to be a troll. Yep, he was banned. I banned him. You know, he's gone. You don't come on my channel and troll. You're gone. Okay, my eyes don't look psychotic. Okay? So fuck off. Okay, because I know you're still watching. You know? You just don't like what I'm saying. Do I hurt your feelings? Aww. Do you want me to play a sad song for you on my tiny violin? Aw, little baby. Fuck you. Just fuck off. Okay. James, again, stop it. Okay, I don't want to hear about this anymore. You're just here to be, you know, you want to talk about something none of us can do anything about. I could jump into my Superwoman cape, fly there and stop it. Is that what you want? You know, talking about something that's bad doesn't make it better. All right? Not on the internet. Oh, look at this cunt. Report. Hate speech. There. And come on. Yeah, it's a sock puppet. He's just pissed. I banned him, poor little baby. Yeah, hate speech. You don't like it? Don't come on my fucking channel. Okay? Are trans men men? No. They're delusional women. just like trans women are delusional. Trans women are delusional men. And Demon, putting you in a timeout. Oh, there. Oh, I know. That's why I'm going to, and I think that Worley probably is one of them. There's nothing we can do about it, so whatever. I mean, that, guy in the skirt, which is like, come on, dude. Goes into the guys, I mean, goes in there and starts fighting with an old man. It's like, I'm really shocked that no one at the store walked over there and said, get the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna dress up like Superwoman. That's stupid. I was just being sarcastic, but anyway. So let's go back to Mikey Sutton and let's talk a little bit more about this, and then I gotta go. I don't know what to think. I really don't understand any of what's going on here, what he's saying. I find it fascinating that get a bunch of trolls that showed up in chat. I think maybe Pablo is back on the prowl and he's pissed off at us. Here's the this is, and I'm gonna say this. I don't tolerate people trolling in the Midnight's Edge chat either. Okay, wherever I have a wrench. If you're trolling, you're gone. Okay? All right. And there are times that I've seen regulars do it. And it's like, look, you get three strikes with me. Croax supporter, I don't even know who you're talking to, considering who are you talking about, considering I've never heard of that person. All right. All right, you're gone. Keep coming on here. All right, guys, there's only... Well, yeah, they are racists. I mean, they're offensive. They don't like normal people. But it doesn't matter. So, anyway, I just keep doing what I do, and they don't like it, and fuck them. Come to my house. Come to my house. Okay? Here's what'll happen. We have cameras all over, so we get your picture taken. Then we got an alarm, so the cops will find out. Then if you dare to get in, my dog will eat you. And if you get past him, and you won't because he's huge, you're gonna get worse. Way, way fucking worse. Okay? So maybe you should get a life and stop bothering people. Okay? Maybe you should go and make your own goddamn thing. All right? Because I don't tolerate bullshit. All right? I really, really don't. I don't tolerate from my family, friends, work colleagues. If I had kids, they would know mom's pissed. All right? And they would know why. I don't tolerate it from my dog. And I don't tolerate it from my horse. Okay? And she can be a real bitch when she wants to be. Thanks. Why do you call yourself Poon Jammer? Oh, thanks, Stephanie. So anyway, I'm, going, we have to wait and see what Mike comes up with because I'm very interested. Because it doesn't make any sense with everything else we know. And, it is what it is. Let's see, did he put anything on here yet? Oh, Chloe Bennett, Dr. Afra. Again, this is just a whatever. And a lot of this stuff is wrong. A lot of the stuff he posted is wrong. So Liam Neeson is not in Obi-Wan. They wanted to bring him back, and people literally had a shit fit. So, so I don't know. I mean, I got to go down through this again because this just doesn't make any sense. I mean, this just doesn't, I don't know. I think we're in a state of flux, but I'm going to tell you why I think all this is going on. The Disney earnings call is coming on the 12th, and I think the rumor out there that they're probably gonna announce her new contract extension there is something that I mean, I'm gonna say it might happen. It might happen. They need good news. I don't know why that would be good news, because as Chapek's talking and he says the words out of his mouth, the stock will do that. Okay. So I think this might have something to do with the earnings, the Q3 earnings report. But fact of the matter is, and this is something Valiant Renegade came up with, and I want you guys to go and check out Valiant Renegade's channel. It's Valiant Renegade here on YouTube. He basically said that she didn't have anything in the hopper. The only thing she's got is she's working on it, which is Indy 5. She doesn't have any movies in pre-production, nothing. Now, they can say that The Acolyte and Rogue Squadron are, but Rogue Squadron's a feature movie, and they're not making, Star Wars isn't making any right now. The Acolyte is, I mean, I don't know why Bob Iger, or even Bob Iger or Chapek would okay that, because no one wants it. There's no longing out there beyond the Twitterverse for this bullshit TV show. Okay, it's very interesting to me that she doesn't have anything, but they're re-signing her. Dolphin, Star Wars was great before Disney. Don't you come on here and say that, okay? If you don't like it, there are other channels to go to, okay? Just go there, okay? You're probably a Trekkie, so boo-hoo, okay? Nothing I can do about that. Nothing I can do about Kurtzman, all right? This is I mean, when I look and see what she doesn't have, and I look and see what Kurtzman did, okay, you're gone. Bye. I'm not gonna, again, he's Fishy Boy is trolling. No, I don't cosplay. Uh, I don't because I'm 53 years old and that would look stupid. Um, um, so anyway, she didn't have anything in the can. But here's the deal. I got a message from Tom Conkle. Here's the deal. This is what is going on. Kurtzman has at least 5 different shows they're actually doing. He's got a contract for that. And when you look and see what Paramount paid him compared to what they paid Parker and Stone, holy shit. I mean, they don't expect anything from Kurtzman. And when you look at the contract, and I know everyone that's a Trekkie is like, about ready to slit their wrists. Don't, please. They're like, Paramount's like, here's the new guy. He's going to manage everything. Oh, that's fine. I mean, Stephanie, I was a fan of OG Star Trek, and I absolutely love William Shatner. I think he's hysterical, and I think he's a hard ass, and I love that. I mean, that is a man right there. And he doesn't take shit from anybody, and I admire that too. And for a guy who's 90 years old, and he still rides horses, and he's still out doing stuff, it's like, whoa, dude. And he's a good guy. He comes off as a sarcastic shit sometimes, but he's a good guy. And I loved Leonard Nimoy. I loved him. It broke my heart when he passed away. And the rest of the guys, except for George Takei, who's a dick. Kurtzman has all the stuff he has to do. Kennedy has absolutely nothing. There's no value in keeping her. The only person who's got anything going on right now that they're developing and working and filming is Jon Favreau. And oh, by the way, Andor, I bet you he's got a lot to do with Andor. I know Filoni does. Obi-Wan, the woman directing it is Favreau and Filoni's protege. Okay. I mean, and Robert Rodriguez directed Boba Fett, for crying out loud. You can't get better than him. Okay, so these guys are all, I'm not going to dress up in black. Will you stop? Can we have a serious conversation? Don't talk to women like that. Okay, real men don't do that. I'm not mecha random. All right, don't. Okay, my husband was a colonel in the U.S. Marine Corps, and it really is ma'am. All right, yes ma'am, no ma'am with me. When I go on the base to do anything, go shopping or whatever, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and they know it. So anyway, back to where I was going because we got a bunch of people here who don't want to talk about anything serious. So Favreau, it looks like, has got everything. Kennedy has the acolyte, and that, besides Leslie Headland's interpretive dance to get people to notice it, when she had that, I don't care. I don't care. Just let's talk about what we're talking about. I'm also a stickler for staying on topic. Back Headland was in the news talking about her stupid show, and then we got Patty Jenkins right away after, and they're just trying to get Disney to fork over money, and if worse comes to worse, and they do. If I was Bob Chapek, I'd give. Jeremy, I don't know, but from what I gather, I think Andor just wrapped. I think that there's going to be a lot of cameos from OG heroes and others in Andor. I know we'll see Vader. We may see the Emperor. We'll likely see Tarkin. We'll see a lot of these people. And I wouldn't doubt we see a smuggler that we all know and love. I would not be surprised at all, especially since Shamook showed up. Okay? And he's been working for months. You know, I've got a few things there, Ezio. But, you know, so I think that I'm looking forward to Andor. I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan. I'm really looking forward to Boba Fett. And, you know, this last episode of Bad Batch was great. At the end, I was like, what the fuck? You know, you knew it was going to be a cliffhanger, but holy crap. Well, another troll. Yeah, I think it's. I think I know who it is, and I think it's probably somebody from either Junkman and that ilk or Pablo. Okay, because he's been, well, you know, like I said, let's go and look. He's been talking to. All right. Let's see where Pablo's been. They're whining about vaccines and how we should be forced to be given one. All right, so here's this. Shitty Star Wars posts. This guy is a huge fan, obviously. And then he attacked this person. All right, so we got that. I mean, no, you're not a fan. It's not what you say, it's what you do, fucker. But yeah, that was the one I wanted to talk about. So, that was the one I wanted to talk about right there. It's really funny when I bring up shitty Star Wars posts and stuff like that. I get trolls, and I've actually had it fights with them, like before I left Twitter unceremoniously. You know, I'm waiting for this and waiting for this. Come on, dipshit. Nothing. Whatever. You know, I hate waiting. I really do. Oh, Liko, you know, they come on here and start a fight or try to troll, and they're gone. They're gone. Like I said, I don't take shit. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, every fucking time I notice he's out there doing something that is probably against the new rules at the company, I get this shit. And I think they know, and that because I think they know something's coming, for good or evil. And every once in a while, you'll get somebody, and I'm going to say this, there are people in the fandom minutes who do this shit from a certain channel. They do this shit. They get pissed off. And if they don't like somebody, you know, they're gatekeepers. And yeah, and I think, and I, you know, is that Mazurs, if he was still here, would tell you we got into it with a troll on Geeks and Gamers one time about Star Wars, and I swear to God it was Pablo, and he does too. It sounded just like him. Absolutely no fucking idea what he's talking about politics, trying to rationalize what they did, and we're like, you know, I would tell these people, first off, read 1984, then read Animal Farm, because we're living in both, and then read what the rest of us should be doing in Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged is that thick, and it's a very involved read, but it's great. And I don't agree with Ayn Rand on everything, but I agreed with her on a lot of the stuff that she talked about in that book. I'm not an objectivist, but that book taught me a lot about what is really sacred to the individual. Atlas Shrugged. Lico, Atlas Shrugged. I don't think any of these people have ever read that book. They wouldn't understand it. They would read, I mean, look, these people are people who think that Claudia Gray is a great writer. What? No, she's not. She sucks. Anyway, listen, I gotta rock. I've been on for almost an hour and a half. My voice is going, and I gotta go hit the road to go to Mass. You know, gotta go hang out for an hour. And if I don't, my husband will get mad because that's where he is. He he does stuff voluntarily for the church, so he goes before I do. And yes, 4 o'clock vigil Mass. Oh, I will. Love you too, man. End of the trolls. I don't know why you're bothering me. I have a little channel. You know, maybe you don't go onto the bigger channels like Mead because people like me and others will chase you off. You go into Doomcock and they'll chase you off there. You know, and I'll chase you off here. You know, I'm little fish, but obviously I really piss somebody off. And you know what they say, if you're pissing someone, if someone's attacking you, you are over the target. And my dad was a radio man in B-24 Liberators during World War II. I know a lot about that. And when you're over the target, the bullshit and the flack gets worse. See you guys around the galaxy. Into the trolls. Fuck off.